Rolling down the boulevard in the speedboat Corvette, like a tail on a tornado ring to promise soaked in sweat. One hand on the glass pipe, the other on the wheel. Devil riding shotgun, singing, boy, let's make a deal.
This is Groundless, a Justified podcast. This is a podcast where we watch every episode of Justified and then come on here and talk about it. I'm Chris. That man is Randy.
My God, the turns tabled this episode, huh? All over.
Turns tabled all over. I think I wrote I think when I was posting the description for the last episode, which I just uploaded today, I think I wrote, join us next week when everyone is a fugitive from the law.
That's right. That's like when everybody dies at the end. Nope. Everybody's a fugitive.
Exactly. Like 6 feet under when everyone dies.
Yeah.
All right. That's right. We're here to talk about season 6, episode 11 of Justified. Only 2 left after this one. Fugitive Number One. That episode originally aired March 31st, 2015. And our synopsis this week: Raylan and the Marshals scramble to deal with a crisis that threatens all of their careers and freedom, apparently, for Raylan at least. And Duffy, Mike, and Katherine question the meaning of loyalty. Yeah. That scene is just, it's so perfect. Written by Taylor Elmore and Keith Schreier. We know these guys. They write a lot of episodes. And directed by John Avnet. This is the core group. You know, we're getting down to the short strokes, as they say. So we're getting only the premium players as writers and directors in these episodes.
Yeah.
And then our guest star this week, let's talk about Mel Fair, Nelson Dunlop, good old Deputy Dunlop. Man, poor Nelson. Continually shit upon Deputy U.S. Marshal, and also the man whose ineptitude allows Boyd Crowder to escape his hospital bed confinement. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I mean, the dude's been acting for a long time. I think his first credit, though, the first credit I saw for him was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original TV show, not the movie, the original TV show, where he played a tentacle demon in one episode. So I love me some Buffy, so I always mention it if they're in it. He did a voiceover for a bunch of video games, including some of the Call of Duty series games. He's been in Big Love, 4 episodes of that, Weeds, 6 episodes of that, and then guest appearances on a bunch of stuff that we've mentioned here before: Ray Donovan, American Crime Story, Impeachment, For All Mankind, a movie called The Menu, which is a relatively recent film that's sort of a quasi-horror movie, kind of, not really, a weird social commentary on rich people and, you know, their appreciation for weird things. I don't know. It's an entertaining film. Ralph Fiennes is in it.
I think I saw. I didn't see. I think I know with the movie you're talking about. It's like maybe it's that like implied cannibalism or something like that.
No,
is that the one?
It's not that. He invites. It's a chef, a famous chef who invites all these rich people to this island for a special meal, and then kills them all.
Oh,
so yeah.
Okay.
And then Winning Time, the Los Angeles Lakers story, the Showtime Lakers show on Max. He was in a couple episodes of that. And then, of course, a show that we never fail to mention here, despite having never seen an episode of it, The Oval. He was in an episode of The Oval. Yet another overlap for Justified and The Oval. This is it's almost like we're being told to watch it.
We might.
So Yeah, so that's our guest star this week, Mel Fair, Nelson Dunlop. He's been in, I think he gets credited in like 14 episodes of Justified. He's a very memorable character because he's kind of the only other marshal, except for Charlie, the guy who takes off with the cash after the Winona heist. He's the only other deputy that ever really gets mentioned besides Tim and Rachel and Art. So he's notable in that sense.
And this is probably the most screen time. I mean, he had like one line or two lines. This is like the most screen time in an episode, probably.
Probably so. And he doesn't normally get a line. Doesn't normally get lines. He's usually being talked to, not with.
Yeah.
But he had the memorable moment earlier this season where he has to hold the baby and just got the stiff arm. And then in this one, he has the interaction with Raylan where he's like, wow, I did not see that coming. And you wonder, like, you always, it's like when you go to the doctor at the urgent care or whatever, and that guy got straight D's in med school. And, and you're like, I guess somebody had to do not so well at the Marshals Academy, but still got a job, right?
Oh yeah, he was like last in his class or something like that.
He always made me think of the guys who you remember when we worked downtown together, and the federal building was right there, and you had the Marshall station because they were guarding the courthouse, and you'd walk past them, and they were always these older, like, retired guy or like close to retirement guys, and I always think about them when I think about Nelson Dunlop, because they always struck me as sort of similar, right?
Just waiting for their pension to kick in or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Not crime fighters, not investigators. They're just, they're prisoner transport guys, or they're like glorified security guards, basically. Right?
They're putting their hours, just watching the clock go by,
getting that government pension.
Yeah.
So that's our episode basics. So that means our next step is we got to take a quick trip back to the week of March 31st, 2015, see what was going on in popular culture at the time.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Yeah,
we all know that we can't possibly enjoy a show without putting it in the appropriate context of the time in which it aired. So this week, our number one movie, we have another new number one movie this week. It's Home, which is an animated movie about aliens. Not one I've seen or even read much about. 68 million though it grossed, so pretty good showing for an animated movie that's not from the mouse. One of the big ones. And Get Hard also debuted this week with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart, and that got about 40 million. I didn't see that movie. That's the one, I think, where Will Ferrell plays like a businessman who's going to go to prison, and Kevin Hart is like his prison consultant who's training him on how to survive.
Yeah. I don't think I ever watched it, but I remember that when it came out.
Do you like Kevin Hart? What do you think of Kevin Hart?
He's okay. I don't know. I think I've said before, I think he's just like, it seems to me, and I haven't seen like any of his bits or anything like that. Yeah. As like a long form thing, but he's just like what was that guy from the OC? Like his shtick was like kind of, I'm a big, remember that guy? Yeah. The comedian. Yeah, people would just like laugh. Think it was funny, or if he was funny. I don't know. He must be pretty good though. I mean, he's been around for a little bit.
Been around for a little bit. They put him in everything. He makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, he's been very, very successful, whether I care for his style or not. He's just always kind of struck me as you're right. He's like, I'm the little guy. I'm going to give you that, incredulous look with bug eyes, coming out of my head. Like, I can't believe what you just did.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a lot of noise. And it's sort of like a Chris Tucker vibe almost, I would say.
Yeah, but see, Chris Tucker, I think I've seen some of his stuff, and some of his stuff is pretty funny. Like, and the Rush Hour stuff was pretty funny. Yeah. I still laugh at some of
the first one, especially. I really did enjoy that first Rush Hour movie. It's very, very
good. Yeah, I like that one bit with Don Cheadle where I think it was like the second one where he's like him and Jackie Chan are like they were taught in this like the same brothers like the one in Shanghai was like teaching Jackie Chan kung fu, and then his brother, his master's brother, was teaching Don Cheadle's character like in Crenshaw.
I do love me some Don Cheadle. So
he's fantastic. Yeah,
just wonderful.
Yeah. But
and then our number one top 40 song this week, Uptown Funk, again in its 12th week at the top of the charts.
It's a monster.
It's a monster. I wonder if there's been, I mean, obviously we're living in a world that's controlled by Taylor Swift, and we're just, we're here, we serve at the pleasure of our pop culture queen.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm not sure there's been another song that's been that popular on the charts for that long. Since
12 weeks.
12 weeks,
yeah.
A long time. That's 3 months, man. That's it feels like a really long time. So
I for one welcome Taylor Swift as our overlord.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fight it. There's no point.
But I wonder, because now it seems like everything's so fractured, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think you had mentioned it before, like as far as like there's like a bunch of splinters as far as the culture and everything else, where like who knows what, like is there a one main chart nowadays, or is it like all?
Well, there actually is a lot to that. If you know anything about the radio business, it's very sort of weird. Like the charts are again very fractured, as you point out, because there's very little commonality, and then they try and incorporate streaming in, and it's it's weird. The charts are very, very weird now. So, because nobody buys records anymore, except when they literally buy actual records.
Yeah, that's right.
But everybody just listens to everything on streaming now. So,
I mean, I look at my the whatever it's called, not Spotify, but the Apple one, and like I just like it's just like so everywhere. As far as like what I've listened to. Yeah. Like just. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my Spotify is all over the place too. Yeah. When I got my year in review, it was very, very strange. Because I love Lana Del Rey, but I also love the Foo Fighters, and so it's a weird sort of combo.
Yeah.
Female singer songwriters and medium rock. So.
What do you call it? Medium rock?
It's not, because it's not really hard rock. It doesn't really qualify as hard rock, but it's not like normal rock. It's not like Nickelback or whatever. It's somewhere in between. It's a little bit heavier than rock, but not hard rock. So, I do like hard rock and heavy metal also, but more classic. That not so much. Queens of the Stone Age. I consider hard rock. I do like Queens of the Stone Age hard rock. So, but so all right, well, that gets us through our trip back to the week of March 31st 2015. So let's get into this episode. So it opens up. We open up in the marshal's office, and they're in crisis management mode because they have Boyd Crowder in custody, which is it's a pretty big accomplishment when you think about it. They've got a wounded Boyd Crowder cuffed to a hospital bed. They're working on getting the bullet out of him, and then they're going to eventually transfer him into a jail. But Art comes in because he's been summoned, and he's shaved and wearing a suit, so it's not good news. And he even refers to that when Rachel asks him how bad it is. He says, "Oh, I shaved." and he tried to take the fall for Rachel, because that's what Art does, right? Art's a good boss for the most part. And he tries to take the fall and say it was his idea, but she had already taken the fall because Rachel's a good employee, and she admitted that it was her decision to put Raylan on lead and her decision to let Raylan manage Ava. And she asks if she's suspended, and Art says no, he's not going to take one of his best manhunters off the board during a manhunt. More on that later. but they do have Boyd in custody, and his wound is mostly superficial. So it hit his collarbone apparently and shattered the bullet. Apparently, it didn't shatter his collarbone, which is